Hi everyone. Today I will talk about the Venezuelan migrant crisis campaign hosted by the Pan American Development Foundation, also known as PADF. Headquartered in Washington, D.C., PADF is an organization dedicated to serving vulnerable people in Latin America and the Caribbean through sustainable community development. To tell you a little bit about this campaign, PADF started an international campaign to assist local institutions and relief efforts and has launched this campaign to raise $100,000 to support local shelters and displaced Venezuelans. The Pan American Development Foundation created a campaign to help Venezuelan refugees at the Immigrant Reference Shelter in Roraima, Brazil. Over 3 million Venezuelan migrants have left their country because of the country's humanitarian crisis, and many of them traveled to Roraima. Most of them are sheltered in the Immigrant Reference Center shelter. The Immigrant Reference Center is operated by missionary volunteers from Fraternidade, which is the International Humanitarian Federation. It is the largest shelter in Roraima, Brazil, and currently provides housing to 480 Venezuelan refugees and migrants. This campaign took place on October 30, 2017, and it is still developing. Since Venezuela keeps facing even more issues, donations are still encouraged for the development of this shelter. The goals of the Pan American Development Foundation and objectives for this campaign are to improve sanitation services at the shelter, to establish a clinic to attend to refugees and migrants, increase the volunteer staff and services provided by Fraternidade, improve transportation options for shelter volunteers, refugees, and migrants, to upgrade office space at the Immigrant Reference Center, and to provide basic needs for volunteers and refugees that have not been met yet by current efforts. PADF mainly communicates their efforts to help the development of the shelter. PADF is leading an international response to the growing refugee and migrant crisis in Brazil. Improving conditions at the shelter and strengthening Fraternidade's capacity to serve Venezuelans throughout Roraima are vital first steps in helping refugees and migrants in this area. PADF aims to raise $100,000 to launch a first round of assistance, which will focus on improving physical conditions at the Refugee Migrant Center in Boa Vista, Roraima, and expanding its works to provide more services to those in need. The action taken by this organization is mainly asking for support from government institutions, foundations, corporations, philanthropists, and individual donors to contribute to the relief effort. This organization focused on spreading the word and calling out groups and individuals to help the local shelter. PADF used media releases in both English and Portuguese, Brazil's native language, wrote blog posts on their website, spread the word on their social media platforms, enabled in-website donations, and were covered by local Brazilian newspapers and other news outlets in that area. And the media channels used were Twitter, Facebook, and the PADF website, where all the information mainly lays. As a result from this campaign, the Government of Canada and the Pan American Development Foundation partnered to improve education and medical facilities from Venezuelan migrants and refugees in the Brazilian state of Roraima. PADF provided a school and a medical clinic to the Immigrant Reference Center. Facilities provided by PADF are complete with modern amenities, classroom materials, and medical supplies. The organization raised $2,648 from other individuals and is still accepting donations till this day. Now let's talk a little bit about cultural dimensions compared to the circuit of culture in Brazil. So, with a power distance score of 69, Brazil reflects a society that believes hierarchy should be respected and inequalities amongst people are acceptable. The distribution of power means that power holders have more benefits than the less powerful in society. In Brazil, it is also important to show respect to the elderly, and surprisingly, children take care of their elderly parents. Status symbols of power are very important in order to indicate social position and to communicate the respect that could be shown. Brazil has an individualism score of 38, which means that natives are integrated into strong, cohesive groups, especially represented by the extended family, which continues protecting its members in exchange for loyalty. Now, this is an important aspect in the working environment too. For example, an older and powerful member of a family is expected to help a younger nephew to be hired for a job in his own company. In business, it is important to build up trustworthy and long-lasting relationships, and the preferred communication style is content-rich. So people will often speak profusely and write in an elaborate fashion. Brazilian culture scores a 49 in masculinity. The fundamental issue in percentage of masculinity is what motivates people: wanting to be the best, which is masculine, or liking what you do, which is feminine. Brazil is quite in the middle. Now, Brazil scores high on uncertainty avoidance with a 76, and so do the majority of Latin American countries. These societies show strong need for rules and elaborate legal system in order to structure life. Surprisingly, the individuals need to obey these rules are weak. If rules, however, cannot be kept, additional rules are dictated. In Brazil, laws and rules are very important to make the world a safer place to live in. Brazilians need to have good and relaxing moments in their everyday life, chatting with colleagues, enjoying a long meal, or dancing with guests and friends. And due to their high score in this dimension, Brazilians are very passionate and demonstrative people. Emotions can be easily shown in their body language. At 44, Brazil scores as intermediate in long-term orientation. This dimension describes how every society has to maintain some links with its own past while dealing with the challenges of the present and future. For example, time-honored traditions versus modern education and development. There again, Brazil is quite in the middle. But Brazil's high score of 59 marks it as an indulgent society. They generally exhibit a willingness to realize their impulses and desires with regard to enjoying life and having fun. They possess a positive attitude and have a tendency towards optimism. And in addition, they place a higher degree of importance on leisure time, act as they please, and spend money as they wish. Now, let's talk a little bit about public relations practitioner in Brazil, according also with the circuit of culture, of course. So, in 1967, Brazil became the first country in the world to legalize public relations as a profession. Also, Brazilian practitioners must have a public relations degree and be licensed by their state's regional council. Brazilian consumers are extremely concerned about corporate social responsibility, cultural and social participation from multinational corporations practicing in the country. In particular, promoting social justice because inequality is a common issue in South America, which also aligns with this campaign because it aligns with the expectations from this culture, focusing on helping refugees and strives for the development of the local shelter. Companies are expected to participate in CSR activities aimed at solving the problems of the country, including environmental protection, if they want to succeed in Brazil. To conclude, a brief summary about this campaign. So, this campaign, hosted by the Pan American Development Foundation, aims to help Venezuelan refugees sheltered in the Immigrant Reference Shelter located in Roraima, Brazil. Throughout the campaign, the organization reached its objectives by being able to catch the attention of other organizations and collecting donations. The organization created new systems and facilities in the shelter and spread awareness about this issue throughout the country. Key takeaways about this campaign. So, in Brazil, it is crucial to help a cause to be able to succeed in public relations practice, which was mainly the purpose of this campaign. It is important to understand the culture and traditions of the host country to be able to implement the proposed tactics and evaluate the success of the campaign. I think this aligns greatly with what we've learned about the Brazilian culture and PR in Brazil. And I think caring about CSR and caring about the people and the community is extremely important to the nation. So this campaign does a great job in implementing that and succeeding in caring about the people. But I do have some specific recommendations. So to be able to implement this campaign a little bit further, I would spread the word even more and to be able to increase donations. It would be more helpful to come up with innovative and original ideas to reach the target audience. And although this campaign reached media coverage from local news outlets, it is important to spread the word in an international level to get other organizations and individuals outside the country to be able to help. Reaching out to other countries, and not only in this area, would result in even more donations. So to be able to spread out and let everyone know, just like they did by pairing up with the Canadian government and being able to create all those facilities and take a step further in the campaign. I think by using their social media and creating other events or putting even a little bit more information, specific information on their website would be a very great way to reach out to international groups or individuals to care about this cause and help their purpose. But this concludes my case study on the Venezuelan migrant crisis campaign hosted in Brazil. As seen in the news outlets and in media, Venezuela is facing a humanitarian crisis that is pretty much unbelievable. And being from Venezuela myself, I can say that refugees need a lot of help, and that organizations such as the Pan American Development Foundation taking such steps and helping in other countries is a great way to spread the word and to be able to make a change and even help out the people. Um, but I hope this information allowed you to understand key information about practicing PR in this country, and feedback is always greatly appreciated. Thank you. And here. Thank you.